So I've been making a lot of videos lately trying to help newer fish keepers kind of understand what to look for when they're setting up a tank, and to think about things like the type of tank they want, how big of a tank they should get, where they should put the tank, all of those kind of things. And today I'm going to talk a little bit about decorating the tank, which is kind of the next step. Once you've decided what kind of aquarium you want and where you're going to put it and how large it's going to be and the type of fish that you're going to keep, the next step is obviously once you purchase your tank and put it down, set it up and get all your equipment ready, is to think about decorating the tank. So when decorating the tank, obviously there are so many choices, and again, that's going to depend on what kind of tank that you have. If you have a marine tank, you're going to obviously want to do some corals and some live rock. If you have a planted tank, you're probably going to do, obviously plants and probably pieces of driftwood and things like that. And then there are things like, some of the aquarium decorations, whether they be like the no fishing signs or the diver or the chest with the bubbles that go up and down or the sunken boat or, the lost city of Atlantis. Or maybe you like more of the natural look where you're going for, kind of a more of a biotope look, or with, like leaf litter and logs. Or maybe you like kind of the rock look with rocky backgrounds and rock on the, kind of spread out through the tank, like these two tanks. So again, there's so many different things that you can do. And then there's substrates. So maybe you want to have kind of a white sand look. Maybe you want black sand. Maybe you want a certain kind of colored gravel. And maybe you're one of those few people that likes that disco gravel that's like pink and blue and green and kind of bright and looking like confetti. So I'm sure there's not a lot of you out there, but there are some, and everyone has their own taste. So what I will say is, before you set up your tank, really think about the kind of fish that you want to keep and what is the look that you're going for. My recommendation is to go online and look at photos of aquariums, and I do this all the time for myself. Before I set up these aquariums, I had an idea about what I wanted, and it's changed over the period of time, but I really researched kind of what I wanted it to look like before I constructed it. So that goes to any kind of rock work or woodwork or plants, backgrounds, other decorations. These are all things to think about. So before you go out and buy 40 pounds of clown gravel, maybe think, am I gonna really like this pink and blue stuff a year from now? Maybe it's kind of cool now, but maybe it's not gonna be so great down the road when I'm trying to plant plants and it just doesn't look so good. It doesn't look so natural. So go online and look at photos. You can go to Instagram. You can look at Google Images. You can look at other people's YouTube videos. There's a lot of places to go to find pictures of some really beautiful aquariums. I love going through Instagram and looking at different, people's fish tanks. I've seen some amazing, brilliant tanks. Some that I would never be able to attain on myself without hiring someone to aquascape it for me. But there's some really, great ideas out there. Maybe they might be too advanced for what you want to do, but you can still take kind of certain elements about it and do it on your own. One example are going to be these two tanks here. So these are both African cichlid tanks. This one being a Lake Malawi tank. This one being a Lake Tanganyikan tank. The Tanganyikan tank is a background that I made. So I made this background. It's a lot of work. I don't recommend it for a lot of people. It's you've got to lay out a form. You've got to kind of design it. You've got to get foam and concrete and rock, and it's a lot of work. But it was a job that I wanted to do, and I've made a few of these. So that's what I made for this tank. So maybe you want kind of something similar, but you don't want to go out and make it for yourself. Then you can buy a background that's already made. In my opinion, this looks, it's different. It's a different look, but I still love the way that it looks. And this is a background that I purchased. So this one happens to come from Universal Rocks, but you can also get them from Aqua Decor and other companies like that. So the difference is these can cost, depending on the size of the tank and what you're looking for, they're not inexpensive. They can be, in the mid 100s to maybe 200 plus, up to $300 or $400 depending on the size of the tank. But again, if this is something that you're going to have in your living room for 8 years or 10 years, and you want it to be kind of a centerpiece and people to come and look at it and enjoy it, and yourself to look at it and enjoy, it's really a small investment. You could make your own, and it might be a little bit less, but by the time you get your lumber for the form and kind of figure out how to do it, you're not going to save a whole lot of money. So, but anyway, that's just kind of an example. Another example is a planted tank. So you might decide that you want to have kind of a natural planted aquarium, and you don't know how to aquascape. So you can go online and look at photos or watch people's videos and see how they do it. And maybe you're going to watch Corvus Oskin and look at his I think it's a 240 that he has, where he's got, you know, a bunch of rummy nose tetra swimming around, and that's beautifully aquascaped. And I've seen his tank. I've been to his fish room, and I was kind of drooling at his tank, and I love it. And it's not something that I'm experienced enough to replicate myself, but I can still take elements of what he's done and do it in my tank. So again, you know, kind of look at other people's tanks, get an idea about what you want, and really kind of plan it out before you go out and buy your stuff. Because what you don't want to do is buy a bunch of gravel or substrate, and then once you put it in the tank and it's been in there for 2 months, you realize that's not the look that you're going for, and you want to change it. Because it will be a mess. It's a lot of work. You've got to drain the tank and take the fish out and get a dustpan, a clean one, and scoop out all your gravel and put it in a bucket. And you're probably dropping water on the floor. So before you do all that stuff, make sure that you are getting what you want from the beginning, and it's the design that you're going after. And if it's not perfect, at least it's close, so that you can kind of tweak it and play with it and get close to where you want to be. That's all I had for now. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. Before I go, don't forget that you can still get your Tazawa Tanks t-shirts on my website, which is www.tazawatanks.com. And just go to the store and select your t-shirt, and I will ship them out to you. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.